Oh, I can't wait to read the comments on this video. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be ranking the top 10 worst Easter eggs in Zombies history. That means every main Easter egg quest from all Zombies games. Looking at multiple factors including the steps themselves, if the Easter egg is fun or not, how replayable the Easter egg is, and much more. And I'm sure you're going to have a different opinion in this video. So I'd love to know your top 5 worst Zombies Easter eggs in the comments below, and be sure to not skip ahead to the end. Watch the whole thing and let me know if the #1 spot is also your #1 worst map. And since the day of uploading this is Easter Sunday, here's an Easter egg related video for you. And if you're watching afterwards, I hope you had a good one and ate a lot of Easter eggs. And if you're watching this anytime after, then treat yourself. You deserve it. If you want to see more list videos like this, then like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But let's jump in. At the number 10 spot on this list is going to be Blood of the Dead. Now, I don't think it takes a genius to know that if you're a regular viewer on this channel, you'll know that I don't particularly enjoy the Blood of the Dead Easter egg, which is why it's at the number 10 spot. Considering what this map is a remake of, they didn't have to stray too far from the original formula because everyone loves that Easter egg. But no, we didn't get to see the Mob of the Dead played. Okay, fair enough. This is the first Ether map in 3 years, so surely we can go for a bang in this Easter egg. And what happens? We have to complete 5 very random objectives as part of the Easter egg. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Our Ether characters are trapped in a time bubble on Alcatraz, and we have the Shadow Man and the Apothecans controlling this realm. But instead, we have random quests given to us by inmates in Alcatraz, which make no real sense to the overall gameplay of the map. Like, you know what's really fun? Just staring through a shield for the whole game, just draining souls out of zombies. Yeah, really fun Easter egg gameplay. And coming off of Black Ops 3, where basically every single map, bar Shadows of Evil, is solo completable, I don't know why they went so backwards to make this map so difficult to complete on solo. Like, almost every single objective apart from the banjo step and escorting the ghost around are the only logical steps. The other ones are just so poor gameplay decisions, and they aren't fun whatsoever. The one sole thing that redeems the Easter egg is the storytelling in it is absolutely phenomenal, but it's just a shame that the way you get to that is the most unfun thing I've ever played. I know some of you will disagree, and some out there do enjoy Blood of the Dead's Easter egg, but as a generalized opinion, I know most of you will agree with me here. But coming in at the number 9 spot is going to be Die Rise. Now, this is probably one of the worst Treyarch maps ever made. This Easter egg quest is very strange, but very short as well when you look at it. But you need 4 players in order to complete Die Rise, which already puts it down, and the Easter egg quest itself just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, take the Maxis side, for example. You need to get an upgraded ballistic knife and just shoot it in the temple room. Like, why? Why does any of this make any logical sense? Why have I got to shoot these 2 balls in the dragon's mouths and then shoot each one with 20 shots of the liquefier and then fling zombies across the rooftop near the tower and then read Mahjong tiles? You know what I mean? It just doesn't really make sense. Coming in at the number 8 spot is going to be the Transit Easter egg. Now, I will admit, the more that I've tried to speedrun this Easter egg, the more I can appreciate the map from a fun standpoint. The map in itself is fun to play with friends, even though its design is incredibly flawed. But when it comes to the Easter egg quests, they do not make any sense whatsoever. You have to build the worst wonder weapon ever made in Treyarch Zombies to then destroy it as one of the steps. You have to depend on box RNG for all 4 players in the game to get EMP grenades to throw them in teleporters. Like, EMP grenades are not used at all during normal gameplay, so you have to spend so much of your time to get them for one simple step. It just doesn't make sense, and just shows that the very start of Black Ops 2 Zombies, those Easter egg designs were really bad. Coming up as number 7 is going to be the final DLC from Infinite Warfare Zombies, The Beast from Beyond. Now, I think we can all agree, out of any Infinite Warfare Zombies map, this map feels like it has the least amount of character, and the Easter egg in this is very boring. It doesn't feel rewarding to do, and feels just a bit of a chore really to get you to that super Easter egg boss fight. It's such a forgettable Easter egg, and it all leads up to a pretty underwhelming boss fight, which pales in comparison to the super Easter egg boss fight of Mephistopheles. Personally, I've not done this Easter egg since the map first came out nearly nearly 3 years ago. It's a testament to how good pretty much all of the Infinite Warfare Zombies maps are, bar Beast from Beyond, because no one remembers this map. I'd be very curious if any of you guys watching actually really enjoy the Easter egg on this map. But coming in at the number 6 spot is going to be Exo Zombies Outbreak. Let's be honest, none of the Easter egg quests in Exo Zombies are at all great, but this one's probably the least worst out of them all, but it's still going to make this top 10 here. There's a few things about this Easter egg quest which make it infuriating. One of them being RNG with the 3D printer. You need to get yourself the EM1 laser weapon, and you need to get this from the box. This is hard in itself because normally if you see the gun and you press the button at the right time, you should get that exact weapon, but trying to get it can be very tedious and difficult. On top of that, there's also another step involving you being teleported into a secret room from the trash chute where you have to spray your weapon on the ground, and somewhere randomly in the room a card is going to appear. Now this infuriated people back when this first came out, and it's still a really frustrating step today because it makes no sense whatsoever that you have this limited amount of time to go in there and shoot the ground to hopefully get lucky. Aside from that, the rest of the Easter egg quest is pretty straightforward, but is this a fun Easter egg to do? Not really. Is it got a lot of replay value? Again, not so much. Coming in at the number 5th spot, halfway now, is going to be Exo Zombies Descent, which is the final DLC from Exo Zombies. Now, this is going here because the Easter egg steps themselves are very tedious. You have a select amount of Easter egg steps you need to do, which is all part of challenges that Zombified Oz gives you. And some of these range from sort of fun to just downright random. Now, I'm all for an Easter egg which challenges you with certain things you have to do, but some of this stuff is just so random. I just feel like it was thrown in for the sake of it rather than there being any structural narrative decision as to why you have to do this, like in around destroying 5 flying drones, or there being a bomb charging station which you need an electrified charged zombie to hit you while you're standing near a generator in order to power it back up, or a grenade challenge where you can only use grenades, or one where you have to keep moving no matter what. It just seems really random. The cool parts of this Easter egg are the jump puzzle where you have to jump outside of the map using jumps and exo boosts, which I thought was incredibly unique, but the rest of this Easter egg is just super repetitive and boring with a really anticlimactic ending. There's no boss fight because you get that Oz boss fight during normal gameplay anyway, but this was just a very weird way to do it. But still not the worst, because coming in at number 4 is going to be Exo Zombies Carrier DLC 3 for Exo Zombies. And I think this will go down in history, in my opinion, as one of the weirdest Easter egg quests that I've ever seen in Zombies. You start off with some semi-normal steps, but then there's drunk laser hopping. Like, what the heck is going on here? And then you have to activate a teleporter, which before you can even use it, you need to get yourself a shovel. So in order to get yourself a shovel, you have to donate weapons to a weapon disposal machine until a zombie inside of it will give you a fishing reel. You place it on a fishing rod, which will then keep going and eventually fish you up a shovel, which you then need to use in the teleporter to go to a secret island and dig everywhere with a shovel to find a data pad. The whole objective of this Easter egg is to find multiple data pads and give it to this vault so that you can escape, but it just goes from one extreme to another. You then have like you being in a shark cage and having to pull the eyes out of a shark. This Easter egg just makes no sense. The map isn't fun to play anyway, but then adding in these nonsensical Easter egg steps which are not fun, and then against all the different exo zombie types you have in this map, this is really, really bad. But it's somehow the second worst Exo Zombies Easter egg, is coming in at number 3 is Burger Town. Oh my gosh, let's talk about Exo Zombies Burger Town. This is easily the weirdest stuff I've ever heard. Like, it is almost just as weird as Carrier, if not a little bit worse, but the map itself is what brings this down even more, because some of the design choices just make this incredibly excruciating to play. You have to find burger meat and cook it with the microwave gun. There's a secret cave where you need to find the golden skillet and bring it in there. Literally, the only thing that makes this map worthwhile is activating Bubby at the end. The rest of this Easter egg is absolute trash. There's no question about it. Half of the Easter egg is making a burger to feed to Bubby, who isn't even physically moving at that point. He's just a dead animatronic. What did zombies come to, my friends? But coming in at the number 2 spot is going to be the Darkest Shore from World War II Zombies. Now, this is definitely up there as one of the worst zombies maps ever, in my opinion. It's just so grey, dull, boring, and lifeless. Then you combat that with some really boring Easter egg steps, and you got a recipe for one of the worst maps ever made. But I still feel frustration when I think about one of the steps where you have to guide one of the boss zombies around to loads and loads of perk machines in a particular order. Why does that make any sense? Why do we have to do that? Why do I have to slow the gameplay down so dramatically to do such a mundane task like that? But coming in at the number 1 spot is going to be the Tortured Path. Oh boy, the Tortured Path. This was already a flawed map on this list because it's 3 maps built into one. Some people really like that, but I really don't like that. Since there are 3 maps, they are smaller Easter egg quests to complete than your normal Easter egg, but you have to do this all before the final round on those maps, which are round 10. So you're going to need to do a lot of stuff, as well as surviving and unlocking Pack-a-Punch and completing objectives. There's a lot to keep in mind. In Chapter 1, you've got to collect zombies' body parts and put them all together, as well as a rope, rods, and an arm, and placing it on a windmill. Like, what is going on here? And then with Chapter 2, there's stuff involving shooting flying fish and charging flying fish. One redeeming part of this Chapter 2 Easter egg is when you have to fight through the crazy place, teleporting around memories of Dr. Stroud. That is cool, but again, both Chapter 1 and 2 so far, those Easter egg steps and the actual gameplay tied to them is incredibly tedious and very boring, and the final chapter just doesn't let up either. The moment that the Tortured Path came out, people were in disbelief at this decision to not have one huge zombies map and instead have 3 mini ones. And whilst it was a interesting decision, it's clearly backfired because it is just awful to play. No replay value whatsoever, and no reason to do all these Easter eggs back to back either. One map with 1 main quest is enough, but 3 main quests which have to be done one after another for the game to count that as a full completion, it is just diabolical. Absolutely terrible decision, and that's why the Tortured Path is the number 1 worst Easter egg. But that's gonna round it up, my friends. If you had a different list, let me know in the comment section. Stay safe, wash your hands, and if this video gets enough like ratings, I will bring out another list video very soon where I'm going to be listing every single zombies map ever from worst to best. Thank you so much for the support, and you can catch another video on your screen right now, and I'll catch you over in that video in just a few seconds.